Earlier today, we also spoke with Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. Here's his conversation with Simone.
Governor, good to have you with us tonight.
Great to be with you. Thanks for giving me some time.
Governor, this is the first time a president has taken over D.C.'s police, and you've had a partnership in Northern Virginia with the federal government. The president and FBI Director Kash Patel, we've seen them praise your policing model recently. Was federalizing the D.C. police force necessary, and what do you say to those who feel as though it's government overreach?
It's absolutely necessary. Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, is extremely dangerous. People don't feel safe. People who live there, people who work there, and people who visit there from all over the country and all over the world. And therefore, making Washington, D.C. safe is critical to America. And the model that President Trump has chosen is one that's worked in Virginia, where we have worked in partnership with federal resources. And it's worked incredibly well. Very shortly after he was inaugurated, we architected this relationship where state police, Department of Corrections, and other state law enforcement personnel work with the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the DOJ, Homeland Security, and of course the U.S. Attorney's Office in order to put together prosecution files on gang members, cartel members, violent criminals. And it has resulted in over 3,000 arrests. This has worked, and Virginia is safer because of it. I'm particularly heartened because the gentleman leading this effort in Washington, D.C. is Terry Cole, our former Secretary of Public Safety and Homeland Security, who was at the point of this relationship, and of course now the administrator of the DEA. I think this will make D.C. safer. It will make Washington more accessible. And I think it's the right thing to get crime down, not just in D.C., but we've got to work collaboratively to get crime down across the country.
Governor, we're hearing shelters in Northern Virginia and Maryland are preparing for essentially an increase in the unhoused residents because of this federal takeover. Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich expressed concerns about strains on his county and their resources if there is that influx. I'm curious here, do you have similar concerns for Virginia?
I believe that if someone is going to commit a crime in Virginia and they come from D.C., we're going to arrest them. If someone is going to break the law, we're going to deal with it. And that's what Virginia has done. And we're going to continue to do that. Again, at the end of the day, if there are states that want to declare themselves sanctuary states, want to declare themselves a place where they're going to look out for criminals ahead of victims, then that's an issue that leadership needs to deal with in those states. But in Virginia, we're going to make sure we hold people accountable. We're going to make sure that we protect citizen safety. And that's what we will continue to do.
Northern Virginia, though, regarding the unhoused, are you concerned at all about an influx in the unhoused people being displaced and moved potentially into Nova? Any thoughts on that?
Well, what the Trump administration has done is offer multiple ways to support the homeless in Washington, D.C. And they've invited the homeless to participate in lots of ways to find support and help. And I believe those are going to be effective. And so I believe also that Virginia has done a nice job dealing with violent crime because of our task force. And therefore, no, I'm not worried that we're going to see this huge influx into Virginia because we're going to continue to stand by protecting our citizens.
All right, let's talk about the Department of Education saying 5 Northern Virginia school districts are violating Title IX by essentially letting students use bathrooms and locker rooms based on their gender identity. You have supported calls to reverse these policies. I'm curious, what was your reaction to the Lowden County School Board voting not to comply with these requirements by the U.S. Department Board of Education?
Yeah, was anybody surprised by this school board in Loudoun County siding, of course, with violating the law? And we've seen it over and over again from this school board and this administration. This is the same school board that moved a young man who had sexually assaulted a woman into another school where he did it again. This is the same school board that refused to notify parents within 24 hours of multiple overdoses in schools. This is the same school board that investigated 3 young men in a boys' locker room because they were uncomfortable because a girl was in the locker room with them. And as opposed to standing up and saying, listen, Title IX is to protect girls. It's to protect their dignity, their safety, and it is to protect their rights. And therefore, I'm not surprised that Loudoun County has made once again a decision that flies in the face of common sense and the law. But this is what they've done from the beginning. And I truly believe that Loudoun County citizens have had enough. They've had enough of school board members that absolutely ignore the rights of parents, school board members that seem to actually want to put in jeopardy the safety of students. And I think Loudoun County citizens have absolutely had enough, and I look forward to this next election where we're going to see what they say about it.
I hear what you're saying about protecting young girls. I'm curious, how do you balance that with the privacy and safety concerns of all students, which do include transgender students? Anything you would say to that?
Yeah, I've been very clear that my model policies stand up for the safety and the dignity of all students, but also their rights. And therefore, I have constantly advocated for there being independent bathroom and locker rooms to allow students to choose where they want to go. But to put a biological girl in a locker room or a bathroom with biological boys, to put a biological boy on girls' sports teams, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And common sense has to prevail here for the safety and dignity of our children.
Governor, you've ordered a criminal investigation into allegations that Fairfax County Public School staff arranged and may have paid for abortions for minors without parental consent. I want to emphasize these are allegations at this point, but how did this rise to the level of you asking the Virginia State Police to initiate an investigation?
So these shocking allegations that a Fairfax County official arranged an abortion for a minor and may have done it multiple times without notifying parents or receiving parental consent is a absolute violation of the law. It also is a gross violation of the trust that families place in our administrators, our teachers, and of course counselors in schools. And finally, if they did indeed use local, state, or federal funds, as the allegations suggest, then this all rises to criminal activity that requires a swift and complete investigation. And that's why I've asked the Virginia State Police's Bureau of Criminal Investigation to start an investigation immediately. Again, these allegations are shocking, and we have to get to the bottom of it immediately. Again, it reiterates this philosophy that parents don't have a role in their children's lives, and that is so fundamentally wrong. In Virginia, our state code says that parents have a fundamental right to make decisions with regard to their children's upbringing, education, and care. And in this case, Fairfax County officials, if these allegations are true, so grossly violated this, not just the spirit, but the legality of that statute.
All right, as we close out our interview today, you did address the General Assembly Joint Money Committee this morning. What was your key message that you really want lawmakers and Virginians to take away from that?
If Virginia is financially as strong as she has ever been, we exceeded our revenue estimates in 2025 by $2.7 billion. Over the course of our administration, we have generated $10 billion of excess revenue or surpluses. And we've also been able to provide $9 billion of tax relief to Virginians while having record investments in education, in law enforcement, in healthcare, and behavioral health. Virginia is roaring, and that is a super profile as we step into 2026. The economic development wins have underpinned this, but on top of that, I am so pleased with the fact that we have 265,000 more Virginians working today than when we started in our administration. There's 250,000 open jobs in Virginia, jobs that are ready for people to take, really good paying jobs. Over 100,000 of those require a bachelor's degree. And finally, the $125 billion of economic commitments to build in Virginia underpin another 80,000 jobs. So we are in a very strong financial position, but we have to continue to make good decisions to be business friendly, good decisions to protect right to work, good decisions to make sure that opportunities are still available for everyone in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
All right, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, good to be with you today. Thank you so much for joining me in conversation.
Great, thank you.